We're doing target 1C, and this is solving literal equations in one variable represented by letters. So our learning objective is to be able to rearrange literal equations to solve for a specific variable of the equation. All that means is that you're doing what you did before, except now you have no numbers. It's all letters. It's easier than it sounds. So let's start off with a practice problem. Now I'm going to show you how it's similar. So over here, we've got 5x equals 10. How would we solve this? Well, we take our 5x equals 10. We want to get x by itself. We've got a 5 in front of the x, so we have to divide both sides by 5, which in this case would give us x equals 2, because 10 over 5 is the same thing as 2. Now, for this one, we're going to take our problem, and again, like we divided by 5 before, we have x times y, so we need to divide both sides by y. The difference is, okay, you get rid of that and the y's go away. The difference is over here, you can't divide z by y because you can't divide different variables by each other. So your answer is simply x equals z over y. That's it. So you're going to follow the same steps to get things away from the variable you're trying to solve for. So let's look at this next one. We have w times x equals k. So with the x, we have a w that's being multiplied. So we divide both sides by w, and you're left with x equals k over w, because the w's over here cancel out. Over here, k divided by w does not cancel out. Okay, so hopefully you're starting to get this. Another example, if you have something like this where it's a fraction, so we have x over y equals z. Again, so we have x being divided by y. So what's the opposite of division? Multiplication. So we multiply both sides by y, and that leaves you with x equals z times y, or just x equals zy. So again, hopefully you're starting to see that it's the exact same process. So now if I had x over w equals, or x over w minus y, and I'm going to actually change that. I don't like that. Let's call that wx. I'll rewrite the whole thing down here. Let's say this is our problem. We've got w times x minus y equals z. So the first part is to add y to both sides. That gets rid of it on this side, leaving you with just wx. And you can't add z and y together, so we're just going to say z plus y. Now, how do we get rid of that w? Because we need to solve for x. Well, we have w times x, so the opposite of multiplication is division. Okay, now here's the thing. You're dividing the entire side by w. So you can write this one of two ways. This is going to be the same way. We're going to have x. So this is one way of writing it. Or an easier way might be to just say x equals z plus y like we have here, and just put it over w like that instead of writing it twice, because it's the same thing. Just trust me, it is. All right, some helpful hints. Keep in mind you do already know how to do this. It is the exact same steps. Okay, if using letters is confusing, you can substitute numbers for the letters, kind of like I did in that first practice problem, how I showed you that first part. Don't do it for the one you're solving, though. And the other thing is you don't want to do any mathematical operations. So just leave the numbers separate so you don't get confused. Okay, so that's it. Another nice short video for you guys. Enjoy.